Don't worry about it. I don't got to say it up here. Let anything happen. And I'm going to show you and him. Bet.
And it begs the question, Tank.
Nothing.
It begs the question, Tank.
Nothing.
How?
And that is Tank Davis being concerned that Jake Paul is going to go off script. And yes, I said script because in case you're living up under a rock or you have, I don't know, intelligence that doesn't exceed a number 2 pencil, it's not hard to tell that Jake Paul fights are fake. Been saying it from the get-go. It's not hard to tell. Okay? Jake Paul and what he's presenting in boxing is fictitious. All right? Let's get that clear. Let's get that on the wood right now. Let's make something very clear. Jake Paul is capitalizing off being a Caucasian male in boxing. That's all this shit is about. Okay? Let's first get that clear. Now let's get into Gervonta Tank Davis and him being concerned about Jake Paul and him doing something that differs from the script that they have agreed to follow. Tank's right to be concerned because
your training now?
Tank is not thinking.
Don't worry about it. I don't got to say it up here.
He's not thinking with his mind, and his team ain't really thinking around him. Tank need to be highly concerned that Jake Paul is going to go off script. As a matter of fact, if I was Jake Paul, I would go off script because it fits everything that they've been trying to do with Jake Paul. They've been trying to legitimize Jake Paul for the longest. WBC even gave him a belt, but he rejected it. All this stuff that you see, all these fake fights that he's giving you, is all this stuff to try to build up some fake persona to try to make him seem like he's something that he's not. And they want to legitimize Jake Paul while not going through the proper channels that everybody else is supposed to go through, because they recognize how they can capitalize, just like with Canelo. This is why I covered Canelo and why he was considered the GOAT and all this. They want to use Jake Paul as basically Jake Paul is the stand-in for everything that they want boxing to be, but can't because boxing has too many colored faces. That's what Jake Paul represents. And the reason why Tank needs to be concerned about that shit is he's not thinking, all right? If you paid attention, you know that they're trying to build him up. You know that they're trying to make him into something that he's not and all this other stuff, okay? And him fighting Gervonta Tank Davis is just another one of those stepping stones, another one of those solidifications for Jake Paul. Now, this is the thing. You know what they want to build him into. You know that Jake Paul is basically here to replace Canelo because the Mexican fan base is going to be satisfied with it because you know how fucked up they are mentally. And then, he's going to appeal to those race fans who love the Lomachenkos and the Tyson Furies just because they were white. He covers a lot of bases, and we don't have to put him into real fights. This is where Tank fucked up at. Tank fucked up is he signed up for this fight while saying at the same time, I'm going to retire. Now, this is what you got to think about with Tank Davis. All right. The boxing world has already gave you a gift to preserve this fight. OK, to preserve this fight. You took a knee in the middle of a fucking fight, something unheard of, and you didn't lose, and it didn't get called a knockdown. He was preserved just for this moment. Now, where Tank messed up is you told these people you're going to retire. Now, if you're going to retire and you're somewhat the face of boxing, which is going to leave a hole, which is going to leave a gap that needs to be filled, just like Canelo Alvarez is going to leave a hole and leave a gap that needs to be filled, the boxing world is looking at Jake Paul to fill that. Now, if you're retiring and you're also part of the face of boxing, why wouldn't Jake Paul go off script to help continue and solidify building his brand off of you by knocking your ass out for real? And what does it matter? Because you're retiring, all right? You're leaving boxing somewhat in a deficit, in a want. So why don't we use you for what you're good for? And what you're going to be good for is building up Jake Paul's name. And since you're not going to be boxing anymore, hell yeah, why don't we go off script and try to knock his ass out? You know what I'm saying? And really push the envelope and really push Jake where we want him to be. I know ain't nobody over there at that camp was thinking like that. But once you said you retiring after this, and trust me, I want you to, there's no reason for us not to go off script. You hate boxing, here, take these millions, let's go off script, try to knock your ass out, build up Jake Paul, and you can retire and ride off into the sunset. It's set up for it. So yeah, Tank should be concerned. He should. Because honestly, if I was in their position, I'd go off script and knock your ass out too. Especially if that's gonna build me up, that's gonna skyrocket me. That's gonna do all that stuff. And one thing that they didn't take into consideration was the Terrence Crawford-Canelo fight. That Terrence Crawford-Canelo fight blew a hole in this Jake Paul Gervonta Tank Davis fight. They just don't want to tell you, but it did. Okay, after witnessing something like that, and after witnessing something authentic like that, you know, it took the air out of this fight, and they know it. That's why this fight is dead. This fight gonna fucking flop. It is definitely not projected. It's definitely not going to do what they maybe projected in the beginning that it was going to do. And I think they realized that right after the world got a taste of Crawford versus Canelo. That's when boxing decided to say, hold on, are we sure we want to sell boxing out to this fictitious road? Because there's still special stuff like this left in the sport. That's what Canelo versus Crawford brought to the table. It got them to pump their brakes a little bit off what they're doing with this YouTube and Jake Paul fake fight shit. They're like, you know, it's still some special shit about boxing. Are we sure we want to throw this all away? So a lot of people are second guessing that fucking fight. Even if they saying they going through with it and whatnot, Crawford versus Canelo took the steam out of Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis because it naturally wasn't nothing there to begin with. Now it's going to be a little hard to defeat. It's just like the saying, it's hard to go back to hamburger helper once you had steak. That's what Crawford and Canelo provided. They provided the steak. And now you're trying to send us back to some fuck hamburger helper. You're trying to send us back to ramen noodles. And people don't want that. So it's got the boxing world kind of rethinking, do we really want to do this clown show shit that we selling out boxing to? That's probably one of the good things about that fight. Because I could tell it made them stop in their tracks and reconsider, do we really want to do this? Because this was a special moment in boxing. And if we sell it out like this, there'll be no more stuff like what we seen with Crawford and Canelo, no more. So boxing is kind of, it's at a mid stage right now. It don't know if it want to go left or if it want to go right. It sees the money, but at the same time, that Crawford and Canelo thing got them thinking again. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe we don't want to do this. And that's what's going on with this fight, low key, because the interest is not there. Especially how it was before the fight, the interest is definitely not there after the fight. And I think in order for them to push it, in order for it to really be something, they're going to have to go off script. And if I'm trying to build Jake Paul and Jake Paul's trying to build himself, hell yeah, I'm going to go off script with Tank. What does it matter? He's going to retire after this. What does it matter? Your branding, this whole thing Tank don't understand. Your branding clause or your branding, it no longer holds weight or value because it only holds weight and value if you're choosing to continue to box. But since you told them that you're retiring, there's no sense in preserving your fucking brand. So let's go off script and knock this dude the fuck out. Yeah, he need to be concerned. He really do.